Guys, the new Valorant trailer just dropped, and it makes me question who really is the bad guy? The opening scene is just insane. So we have Omega Chamber giving cover to his teammates, and I mean, funnily enough, he's known as the one tapper, but he gets one tapped by Reyna, the Alpha Reyna. And the long speculated theory finally comes true. Chamber and Viper really are a thing. Luckily, we get to see Chamber barely alive, sedated on what looks like the Omega team's medical bay. But wait, why is this war even happening? All right, I'll give you a very quick summary. So, during the events of the first light, we learned the existence of a second Earth. Now, Alpha Earth was the one with all the radionite, and radionite is essentially a resource that gives unlimited sustainable energy, right? So, Alpha Earth is it's filled, I don't know, it's filled with joy. They can do what they want, la la la, all of that. But Omega Earth did not have this, so they had to fight to survive. And for the longest time, we've seen things from the Alpha's perspectives, thinking that Omega keeps invading. But this cinematic puts us in Omega's shoes. The scene then shifts to Viper, hoping if Sage can heal Chamber. But unfortunately, Sage is in a coma because she overused her powers. She resurrected people, she healed people in this Alpha Omega war. And if you don't know, the more Sage uses her powers, the more she kind of crystallizes and eventually just freezes. So she's almost there, which means she has already overused her powers. And at the end of the day, it's very clear that Viper holds Brim responsible for what happened to Chamber. The scene then shifts to the Omega Breach, living his peaceful little life in Sweden. I think this is a flashback of sorts because we can see how the skies are breaking apart, indicating that something is happening. It could just be a spike, maybe this is the first light, maybe this is where it all started. Now we come back to Yoru, who we know as the cocky and arrogant guy. But look at him, he's rushing around to save kids who are getting crushed in a crumbling building, and it's just painful to watch him as he's unable to save that one last kid from the rubble. And this background also seems to have some sort of explosion. Maybe it's a spike planted by the Alpha. While the aftermath remains unknown, we get to see two Sovas after they've duked it out in what looks like the Omega Sova's flashback, and unfortunately the Alpha variant comes out on top. You can also see this nice little detail of Sova's ultimate that has burned through the trees in the forest. Alpha Sova cuts off Omega Sova's eye, maybe out of jealousy, maybe to level the field. We'll never know. Cut to the present. Viper wakes up from what looks like a horrible nightmare, still traumatized by what happened to Chamber, and her only comfort during this time is his thought. Her anger and rage against Brimstone is juxtaposed amazingly as a viper crushes the Brimstone statue in the background. So Viper, Yoru, Breach, and Sova from Omega Earth decide to strip Brim of his title, and Viper proceeds to proclaim herself leader, with the plan being to attack Alpha and get their revenge. They teleport to World Alpha, where Omega Sova takes out Alpha Sova. Breach and Viper jump in, and I think it looks like they've both used their ultis. Now, what's curious here is that Viper just kidnaps Raze. She does not kill her, while most of the other characters are shown to either get shot or just straight up killed. Hmm, weird. Now, with his second arrow, Sova takes out Reyna before she can go on a rampage. And in this amazing parallel, we can see Omega Sova finally getting revenge on his alpha counterpart. As we get close to the finale, we can see Omega Viper fighting the Alpha Brim, her eyes swollen from crying, and she finally beats Brim in hand to hand combat. It looks like this is Omega Team's first victory over Alpha, and the ones we thought so far as culprits ultimately turned out to be victims. All in all, I think it was an amazing cinematic. What are your theories? Let me know down below.